Okay, hello and welcome to the Counter Narrative Show. I'm your host, Rasheem. Today we have tons of special guests around the topic of Black Artists Matter. We have Ty Coleman, Kammeran Jiggers, Asia Cobbs, Jasmin Manning, Murjoni Merriweather, Marquette Shaw, and Jerome Chester. And I'm really excited to speak with all of them. Before we get into speaking with them, I want to make sure that everyone has a little bit of background on each person. So Marquette Shaw, Marquette Soul Son Shaw was born in Delaware. He gained his love of music from dance and acting from around the age of 9. He's a leader in the African dance world, and he became a master instructor in the style of West African dance. Asia Cobbs, Asheville native, has taken her passion of arts to the next level. She does these trap house exhibitions. That is a traveling exhibition of trap house exhibitions. They have rappers, visual artists, just a large genre of artists, of emerging artists. Ty Coleman. Ty Coleman is a seasoned facilitator, comedian, teacher, a Black queer gender performer. He is dedicated to building spaces for Black, queer, and trans folk to come together and share their stories. Jerome Chester, hailing from Baltimore, Maryland, is a multifaceted artist. He has been creative for his entire life, and he is very much known for his witty and eccentric style. He fashions the products of his spacious and unorthodox imagination into tangible, idiosyncratic masterpieces. I have seen Jerome do everything from stickers to pillows to shirts. He's done murals. He's that dude in terms of being able to create art in different spaces. Oops. Kammeran Jiggers. Kammeran Jiggers is not only a actress, she's also a theater director. She is a teaching artist, and she is also currently the executive director of a nonprofit called Rise that focuses on youth development in the realm of arts and performance. Murjoni Merriweather, as a Black woman artist from Maryland, Murjoni has found that the best way to create and talk about moments of Black bodies is through art, especially clay work. She does some of the most amazing clay work that I've seen in the way that she re-images the black face, and they're so very much expressive. And I love her use of gold. Kay is a teaching artist, and not only is she a teaching artist, but she also designs clothing. She does face painting as well. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to switch it over to being able to finally talk to our artist. Let me get my screen all situated. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all again so much for taking this time to spend this time, I will say, with me, because I know that we are all doing things out there in the world. We are all being productive. We're all pretty busy. I've just read over some of your bios. If each one of you could share with the folks a little bit about like some of the things that your bio doesn't share about you, right? So of course it has your name and your relationship to the topic. I'm also curious about what is it that you're passionate about right now, and how did you become interested in art? So we can start with Ty. What is it that you're passionate about right now, and how did you become interested in art?
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. At this moment, the thing that makes me the most happy is making people laugh and working with kids and families. So just bringing joy. I think right now everybody could use like a dose of smiles and happy. So I'm glad I'm able to like provide that service. And then the second question was, what about art?
Yeah, what got you interested in art?
Oh, I think my family really, I think most Black families have like those live comedy open mic sessions around the dinner table, you know, and that's where I got started. I got roasted to pieces, and I was tired of it, so I had to like dust myself off and finally start. My mom was like, "You gotta come back," so I started coming back, and I keep coming back, and now nobody wants to roast with me no more. So that's it right there.
Right. And what about you, Murjoni? What is it that you're passionate about right now, and how did you come to your art practice?
So right now, I'm actually really passionate about, first of all, hi everybody, I'm Murjoni. I'm really passionate about mental care right now, like taking care of myself and my health, especially in a time like this, in this pandemic. I feel like it's just really important to spend time with yourself and giving yourself the right amount of energy during the day. And that even includes me spending time making my work, because obviously, you know, for me, making my work is like a stress release. In a sense. And I'm sorry, the second question.
No problem. What brought you to your art practice?
So I've been dealing with art since I was like in second grade. I was drawing all the time. And then in 8th grade, I got into ceramics. Thanks to my ceramics teacher. And obviously, you know, my mom is also an artist. She does interior design, obviously. I'm at my parents' house right now. And she's really artistic as well. So it kind of just ran in the family and I just kind of went with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what would you say, Asia? What is it that you're passionate about now? What brought you to art? Asia?
So you guys, I'm Asia, and I run the Art Trap House, which is a traveling music and art festival. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey guys, okay, so I do the Art Trap House. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I do the Art Trap House, and basically I'm just really passionate about giving others platforms, especially Black artists. And creating my festival also gave me a platform to share my art and creations. Went to school for fashion design. Also am a painter as well. So you know, that's kind of where I find passion and just uplifting all of the people who are, you know, doing creative things and who really don't have an outlet to, you know, have like a platform to share their work with. It's kind of hard, you know, just being a Black creative and not having a platform to share your work or nobody to support you. And it just kind of seems like you're doing it by yourself. So that's what I'm really passionate about, you know, just uplifting my community where other people may not.
Mm-hmm. And Jerome, what is it that you're passionate about, and what brought you to your art practice?
One of the things, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, one of the things I'm most passionate about at this moment is trying to find a way to elevate my brain, or just me as a brain in the whole, and trying to find that, you know, that sweet spot, that balance, you know, in between, you know, being an artist and a brain, and just trying to get my, I guess, my logo on any and everything that I possibly can. And now I'm branching out, doing a lot more merchandising, and, you know, just trying to, you know, see my logo on any and everything. And something I'm passionate about. Oh no, you said what brought me to art?
Yeah.
That's a broad question, because it's like I always felt like art chose me. I didn't choose it, and it's always like literally always been a part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know anything else but it. Yeah.
It's like since the beginning, since you knew how to hold any type of tool, it's been art.
Yeah, it's literally always been, you know, drawing, um, just mainly drawing. You know, didn't really have too much access to, like, you know, other art materials, but it's been drawing this for as long as I could possibly, you know, think of, and painting, you know, seriously, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. But I don't know, it's literally always been art.
Mm-hmm. And Keela, for you?
So art's always been in my family, more on a instrumental as well as singing, and also the arts as far as drawing and painting on my dad's side. So I never knew actually my dad's side of the family until when my mom passed away, and I kind of reached out to that side, and I found out that like the Evans family has been putting was in a couple of publications in Baltimore for painting. So I was able to kind of find who I was, because I just always thought that being self-taught, I was the only one in the family that was like really interested on not more so on the musical level, but or instrumental level, but more so on the artistic level. So basically, like my mom used to always do like what we call DIY now, but then there wasn't a lot of people as self-efficient, because we didn't have those networks like YouTube to kind of like mimic things that we didn't know how to do, or give us confidence to like lay towel on the floor or do things like that. So because it was cost efficient for my family, my mom would just like kind of just go in, just was gutsy enough to do it. And I just always would see her like improvise, growing up as a single mom in East Baltimore, like improvising to make nothing look like something. And I just grew up that way, from going to shopping at thrift stores. Like when it wasn't as cool, it was like your family was considered poor, to now where it became a part of life for me growing up. It's like the Janelle Monáe song, when she quotes that, you know, basically it wasn't cool when she was going to the thrift stores, and now everybody go to get this timeless piece or this particular item or art form or whatever from the thrift store. So it was a way of life for me growing up. So it was just like I always, not consciously, was always a part of art due to circumstances, I guess. And I just was self-taught, so I started just, you know, getting into drawing, and so by looking at comic strips. The Boondocks was a huge inspiration for me with Aaron Magruder. So in middle school, I was like fascinated by the artistry of animation, when I thought I was gonna be an animator. And it took me to, basketball was my tool to get paid for things to get paid for, but I majored in art at Wake Forest, and I always just knew that was what, before I became an educator, that was in me.
I could definitely get that. Especially, it's so interesting, like some of those parallels between like arts and entertainment, and how they like, you know, most definitely connect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what about you, Kammeran? What is it that you're passionate about right now, and what brought you to your art form?
Yeah. Hey there. Hey guys. What am I passionate about right now? So many things. I think in this moment and in this season, I would have to say providing a space for youth minorities and youth with autism to just express themselves through art, whether if it's visual arts or performing arts, just providing a space for them to get all of what they need out and receive so much from teaching artists. I think that's what I'm most passionate about right now. And the other question was, what got me to where I am today? Like what inspired me?
What brought you to your art?
That is a really tough question because I mean, growing up, it was just something that I just did. Like I was always on the stage. I was always writing my own little scripts, performing it in front of my family. And I think it was the reaction that I got from my family, specifically my parents, because I really wasn't that good at academics and things like that. That was what just kept me going. And then I just pursued it in college. And I always said that I'm not good at English or math or all these other things, but I'm starting to realize now that I'm stepping into like art administration, that theater has prepared me for all those things that I said I wasn't good at. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. So, and you now, Mr. Marquette Shaw.
Hey everybody, what's up? First off, I hope y'all are all like vibrationally doing wonderful. I can feel y'all all right now. Thank you for having me. I want to say mine, for me, art started a long time ago when I, 9, dancing. Dancing actually came right after I joined the group, and we were drumming. We started drumming on buckets. So leading from buckets to, actually being able to purchase djembe drums, that took us on another level. And then, next thing you know, there was a dance teacher, and I'm like, oh, hold on, what's she doing? I like that, you know? So then I'm like, okay, I want to do that. So I started dancing. And, you know, dancing continued, you know, throughout high school and college. But my love of music came from my mom. My mom, when she was in school younger, they had a group at Bowie University, Bowie High School in Maryland. And after hearing about that, something was like, you know, you're already writing poetry, you're already writing stories. Why don't you try? So I started trying to sing, and then I'm like, oh, I love this. Started singing, you know, continued on throughout time, you know, and acting came about. Like, I want to say I started acting after high school, because in high school, I had that boundary of all of my directors' children and their best friends were like in control of everything. So it was like, I don't want to act now, I'll act later.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I waited, because then I was Jimmy in Dreamgirls. You know, that was a great experience.
Oh.
That actually opened me up so much to say, you know, oh, you forget this. I'm writing scripts. I'm going to try something else, you know. But that, you know, all these years, like building it up to now, like it's made me realize that all the people who used to tell me, you need to only do one thing, only said that because they didn't know how to allow their vibration to let them do those other things.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm thankful, you know, for people like you and Cameron and Ty, you know, that I'm able to stretch my arms even further, because now I have my dancing. I'm teaching dance again, you know what I mean? I'm working on my music. I have an album that I'm working on for next year. My give back, because of the vibrations that I meet like you, is my tools like photography and videography. So now I'm creating a brand called Marketing Marquette, because that's what everybody calls me now. But the chat that I'm doing now is called Quarantine Chat. So, you know, that's my, whatever you need, I'm here for you. Let's talk about it. Let's do a photo shoot. Let's, you know what I mean? That's my give back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
Okay. I'm curious from all of you, how has our like current situation that we're in terms of like COVID-19 and quarantine, how has it impacted your art practice?
Mm-hmm.
And anyone can go and all can go. Like how has your yes.
I'll definitely go first. I just want to say, you know, you guys, I do like the Traveling Music and Arts Festival. So we go, you know, from city to city to host these shows, to give artists a platform. And we actually like to go to the artists rather than them having to come to us. So, you know, with my company and my brand just caring about public safety, it kind of halted any shows or anything like that. So we've had to find other ways to be creative, and we've actually started a live show like this to where we could still offer artists, you know, a platform, and we still get to know their story. And what I like most about it is that it's actually more personal with, you know, just having that one-on-one conversation with them and getting to actually know who they are, so that when we do start our festival back, like, it could be that connection that our, you know, supporters and stuff, like,
right,
get to know them and actually feel more personal and personable with the pieces that they've created. So that's kind of what COVID has done right now, or the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. It's just kind of struck me to be more creative and to keep digging in my bag and just pulling out tricks I never knew I had. So I really like that.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
I like what she said. Asia, that was good. That reminds me of the Cosby Show when Hillary was like, no, dig deeper. She had the dream. The teacher was like, you got to go further.
Oh, that was
you know
Kim.
I mean? That was Felicia Rashad.
Was it Felicia Rashad?
Yeah,
okay.
She was telling her friend, her friend was telling them the story of her having a dream. But It made sense, because now, like, we're in this period of nothing but time, and she was in a dream of nothing but time, and she had no choice but to dig deeper.
Yeah, this time has definitely stretched me. It's funny because in improv, a lot of is about like responding in the moment and staying like open to whatever is happening. And that's easy to teach, but like when it really hits you, that's like different. And so when I got the news, I was like, you know, everything I do was on stages. So I'm thinking like, how am I about to not only survive working wise, but also like just as an artist. And it's funny, my grandmother was actually the one that kind of pushed me, because my grandma is a retired teacher and she sells Mary Kay. And like the first week it happened, she called me. She was like, "You got to get over here and put Zoom on so I can do my Zoom Mary Kay meetings and download Duo so she could do her Duo facials." And I was like, "Now, if my 81-year-old grandma can adjust to this COVID, then I'm gonna have to do it too." And so it's been great. It's really stretched me creatively. I'm doing more with my work, and it's also just changed like how I look at accessibility, right? Like usually accessibility, we talk about that in venue wise and language and things like that, but we don't think about just like access to our programming. And so now it's not just changed like what's happening now, but like how we look at it in general, and like how do I remain accessible after this. So it stressed me creatively. I'm doing more than I've done in a long time. I'm writing more, everything else, and it's just changing the framework about how I even approach my art, and more important, approach my community.
It's interesting how some of the most challenging times could like make us help us to be like more creative, because we actually have to like think outside of whatever that comfort level is. And I think some of the most beautiful art that can be created comes out of that.
Most stuff.
I'm curious from more of the visual artists, how you've been impacted by this. I could definitely understand Ty, and even Kammeran and Asia, because so much of your work depends on like, it's like set with audiences. It's set with like usually like large groups, like the Trap House exhibitions, or doing an improv or stand up or putting on a play. How has this time been, for example, for you, Murjoni?
I feel like for this time, I feel like I've been creating a lot more. I think that I have no distractions of anything from the outside. I've come up with a whole bunch of new ideas, which I'm really excited about. And I think it's also because I also live in my studio, as you know. Like I live in my studio, so I'm able to still continue to do work. It's not like I live apart from my studio, which I know a lot of people have that as well. So I'm grateful that I live there. But I've honestly just been making a lot more work. I feel like I've been a lot more creative. I've been having a lot of ideas, and I've just been spending a lot of time with myself, which I feel like, as I said before, is very important for me. But yeah, I'm like chilling, you know.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be so much too that comes from this particular time period as artists, that we're going to be like, I need to set time for this. I know that I've been doing more painting and creating and tapping into that aspect of myself, and it has nourished me and nourished my spirit in a way that it's just like, you know what, no matter what happens, even when whatever gets back to rush, I need to set aside time where it's just like, this is uninterrupted time, no matter what. Even if I don't have an idea at that moment, I'm just gonna sit right there in front of the canvas and just like meditate on whatever. Making that time is important.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things that you are seeing as like, because I one of the patterns that I'm hearing from everyone is like more time, being more creative. And I think that from different times and different spaces in history, there's certain art that comes out of that. Like there's like, whether it's a renaissance or there's a particular focus on this model, or like people are thinking more deeply. Are you guys seeing any trends in your particular line of work, in your particular field, about how people are adapting?
Oh, you want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody know it kicked me off for a little while, and I couldn't see what's talking. But yeah, I'm saying, I think people are being more creative, being more resourceful. This is like I always say, like a way to creativity is, the lack thereof. So, you know, when you don't have it, you know, you have a reason to be creative. So I think people are definitely tapping more into their creativity by trying to figure out how they can, you know, work around this, this speed bump, so I see a lot more of that, people being more innovative with things like, the world has seen the D-Nice, DJ show and, virtual art galleries, marketplaces and things like that. So, everybody's trying to, do their best to cope with it, but I think people are being, very, very, very creative with it as well. Like it's a guy I follow on Instagram. His name is Diz Wayne, and he did something called a stay-at-home festival where he had people tune in and talk, and people perform and show artwork, and I thought that was really cool. So yeah, so big ups to him.
Nice. Stay at home festival. That's interesting. I saw an Instagram post that I sent to my kid's dance teacher, and what they did is they went to this empty parking lot, and all of the cars, they came up in a circle, and the dancers got out of the cars, and they were all spread out in their different car. I think they measured it by the how there's lines in the parking lot from where the car ends, and then there's the corner where it meets. So they were all spread out, all 14 dancers. And then their dance coach just played the music from them practicing. And it was audience, it was nighttime. All of the lights were on the center of these youth dancing, and they are performing. And it was just like, I would love to see that. I would love, love, love to see that. So Marquette, please get ideas.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I just said to my roommate, I was like, "This sucks. I want to do a flash mob." I'm like, Rasheem and them are doing the curbside serenades, and they want me to dance, but I'm just like, I just don't. I feel like me just dancing is a good vibration, but I feel like that's not something that is a one-person situation. I feel like that still needs to be a touch. So I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we did like a mini flash mob with like 10 dancers on the street for that block? You know what I mean? Like walking with newspapers or something. Just not just for one person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The different ideas.
Yeah.
One more question I have about this particular time period that we're in, and it's around a question that came up in Facebook. I just want to shout out everyone who is watching us from Facebook. I appreciate it. I was having a little bit of technical difficulties figuring it out, but people are listening. I think the last time I went over there and looked, it's about 13 eyeballs right now, and people are writing comments and questions.
Hey, eyeballs.
Hey, eyeballs. One of the questions was, are any of you also homeschooling while you are working on your art or dealing with anything like that?
Oh my God.
I am.
Yeah.
Please, to y'all.
I'm an educator for Baltimore City Schools, so I'm doing my virtual arts classrooms with my first grade through 8th. So like on certain days out the week, I have my whole room set up. It's already in studio form anyway, but I have my whiteboard, and I'm like still trying to figure out these angles with the camera so they can see. We just did our, with my second graders 2 days ago, our continuous line drawings. I'm holding a plant here, and I'm drawing with the other hand. So it's very challenging versus when you can kind of sit the object on the table, and my space is limited. So it's kind of that going on. And then my twins that are 11 in the background, excited to see their friends on their video chats. They're doing scavenger hunts and all kind of things in the background. So, and then I'm giving them my own personal lessons, because now they're only half the time. They basically have a half a day. Our students have a half a day now because they're not engaged all day as they're accustomed to. So I feel like, being that they told all of the students basically you can't fail regardless, and they're giving them this number system. You get a 0 or 1, 2 or 2 or 3. a lot of the kids are lax, so I'm trying to keep my twins abreast of like, no, we're not doing that. You have to still fulfill a curriculum. You're ahead of the game, so when school comes back in, you still will be behind, but not extremely behind. So that is a challenge, even as an educator. So I feel for my peers and counterparts that are don't have any educational background, because it's a challenge for us educators as well. So yeah.
I have to definitely piggyback off that one. After leaving from teaching at Tench Tillman, teaching dance and
Tench Tillman,
Tench. Teaching dance and rhythm, I definitely had to shift my attention, and it just so happened that my secondary job, which is executive assistant for Aubrey Artworks, we decided to come up with a series of online artwork classes for kids. One of our teachers was supposed to be on today, which is Jasmin. She's a part of that. And then Josh Brooks is a local Baltimore artist as well. Phenomenal guy. He's another one of our teachers. But we teach an array of classes, and they constantly keep changing. But that's been a good, a great aspect of this shift, because I'm not in front of the camera. Like, I moved to the technical work for them. So handling the camera, the lighting, and audio.
I just want to give it up to all parents. Oh, sorry, Asia, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that before you go to the next question, I just want to say that during this time, I've really enjoyed how people are using their social media as a tool, to stay in the forefront and market, and using technology has just been the power for us right now. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm learning a lot of new things. I'm not a parent yet, but kudos to all the teachers and the instructors and everybody who's got to teach virtually, because I know that's a challenge. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just have to give it up to parents, because I talked to a parent the other day, because we do virtual after school programming. And it was like I was doing session with her and her son, because she was like, look, I'm not prepared for this. She's like, it was hard enough doing homework when they got home, but now I'm a teacher, I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, and a mom. She's like, where, talking about where do you draw the line? When do you log them off? And so I couldn't imagine having another person to take care of, period, and then plus have to do homeschooling and actually do your job. My sisters, I don't know how they do it.
And the challenge is too, and still be an artist, because now, as of today, I'm sending Rasheem, my profile's not up here. I'm just so discombobulated, because now what happens is, as an artist, parents, and you push all of your things that you usually, it's a lot similar, but not as similar as when you had to go in the classroom, because I do feel I have more time. But now it's I'm pulling these all-nighters, 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I have to be on the chat, so that way now they have Baltimore City School administration coming and checking to see if teachers are in there doing their job, because in their eyes, we're basically home collecting the chat. You know what I mean? Wow. So they're going in our virtuals to see if we in there doing our office hours, so that way our students can have accessibility to us. So it's literally 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm customizing for order, and then I'm oh, this is about to be a long day, because the kids still got to eat, and you got to entertain them, and and that's the schedule that artists do anyway. But it's a lot more challenging, it seems like, for me now doing the weekdays, at least Monday through Thursday, because Friday we really have not as many obligations as teachers. So
yeah, real quick, I want to say hello again to folks on Facebook. People are definitely putting comments. So what you just said, Sharonda Green just said, amen. Gary Mullen said, hello. Asia Maxon said, hey, Coach Ty.
Asia, I miss you so much. I'm not going to yell. That don't make any sense.
To also what you just said, Sharonda Green said double and triple doubles for women and mamas. Lord help us. And also said hi. And Megan said hello to you, Jerome. there's a few comments that's like moving quicker than I could get to, so I just want to like bounce back and forth. But folks are saying hello. Hey Keisha, how's it going? Yeah, so thank you again for people who are logging on. Please feel free to share this out. Asia says she misses you too, Ty.
Oh.
Someone else corrected me when I said 72 eyeballs. They said no, it's 2 eyeballs, so it's 34 eyeballs. So I was like, okay.
Oh, shit.
Not math riddles.
Listen, I'm not mad. Let me know how many eyeballs. Yeah, so again, thank you to everyone tuning in. Please do, if you're watching this now, you can share it out to your page. Feel free to ask additional questions. I felt like that was a really good question around education and parenting and youth and arts. I know that Kammeran is also an arts administrator, and in addition to being an arts administrator, she also has her own nonprofit called Rise, where she's regularly doing theater sessions virtually. Kammeran, can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so we're new. It's difficult. So I'm trying to figure out how to start this. So yeah, so I have a nonprofit. It's called Rise Arts Center of Baltimore Incorporated. Rise stands for Reach for Your Dreams, Inspire Creativity, Stay Focused, and Evolve Through Your Purpose. Right now, we are having a 5-week jumpstart session for kids who are interested in the Wiz. The goal was at the beginning of the year, before all of this happened, was to do a whole production of the Wiz, but clearly we can't do that now, but we can try to do it virtually. So I teach a acting and music class on Mondays and Wednesdays from 6:15 to 7:15. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I teach a visual arts class from 6:15 to 7:15. This past week, the kids were like a little bit antsy because they wanted more time. So now I'm extending the time to about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Mind you, I work all day from 10 o'clock to about 5, 6-ish. So like days are long, but the program has just been going so well. Like I was so afraid, since we are new, I was so afraid to do it because I just didn't know how many kids were going to show up. I didn't know if I could mentally and physically do it because I do work a full-time job. But I just, with Rasheem and Ty, I just put it out there and people bit back. I have 17 kids in the acting and music class now. I have 10 kids in the visual arts class, which is perfect. They're enjoying it. They're growing. I'm seeing their growth. They're sending me videos of them singing and they sound great. They're sending videos of them acting and doing TikToks. And it's all just somehow coming together. I randomly have a student who lives in Canada and she's been inviting her cousins. So they're asking me for a summer program. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening? So yeah, it's just been really, really, really rewarding and fulfilling, and I'm so grateful to have this time. I am exhausted, but my all and my heart is being put into it, and that's all that I could ask for. So, yeah.
Asia said, "Yay, Kammeran!" Thank you to Facebook and everyone who has shared it out. It's been about 20 comments, 3 shares, and right now it's 33 eyeballs. But because people have 2 eyeballs, that means it's 66 eyeballs. What made you do math?
I thought you meant 33 total, and I was like, wait a minute.
Right?
That's not divisible by 2.
Right. So that's great. And thank you for everyone who's watching and sharing it. And the replay will be available, and I'll let you guys know where that'll be available. I think it's a good portion to talk about the importance of arts and education. One of the first things that regularly seems to get cut in education is art.
Always.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about or the value of it. One of the reasons why I wanted to ask, like, how did you come to art? Because I feel like sometimes there are barriers. There are barriers to professionalized, validated entry to art, but not barriers when you're young. Murjoni, as someone who actually went to an art institution too, can you talk about the significance of art in education a bit? And then as each person wants to chime in and share, like, why is art important in education.
Oh, for sure. Is she going? Is she going?
Oh.
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Oh, me? Well, yeah. I think that there's a connection between art and mental health, and I think that with the rise of mental health and the people and people you know, around the world, I'm sorry, paying attention to it, I think like things like art will be won't be the first thing cut out because of the I'm sorry, just jumping up, but I don't think art will be cut out, you know, with the rise of mental health, simply because of the connection to it. And I think that when people do realize, you know, the connection about people expressing themselves, and, you know, people channeling certain, you know, emotions and feelings and things like that, then I don't think people realize the importance of art, you know, especially in schools, you know. So I think there's, you know, I disconnect right now, but I think it's, you know, people starting to realize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I feel that. I think for me personally, just growing up in like just growing up in a mainly academic school. Well, obviously school is academic, but for me, I'm a very visual learner, and I feel like a lot of people are visual learners, and I think that we forget that, where, you know, when you see an image, you remember that more, you receive it more, you receive it better. So for me growing up, I had to actually like draw out my study guides instead of writing them down in order for me to actually remember them and understand them. I don't know why, but it just helped me pass my exams better. And obviously I went to an arts college, and I think just applying art to life in general is really important, because once again, everyone is visual. We see things and we learn from everything that we see, rather than the things that I was gonna say the things we hear, but I feel like that is also an art too, in a sense. It is. It's also art in a sense where I feel like, you know, I just think it's super important, but I don't think people see it as important, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's so important to acknowledge that like how people learn is different. Because that's why I love arts integration. That's like my one of my passions right now. I was doing the arts and learning series for young audience, where they take a teacher and a teaching artist, and we took the lessons from the packets and we made these like fun videos on like how to learn different lessons. And it's like, it's so important to when we talk about like how do we include everyone, how do we keep it accessible to everyone, I think arts integration is an important part of that, because regular curriculum doesn't grab every kid, and don't we want to grab every kid? And like if we have this way of integrating art into lessons, especially because arts is integrated in our real lives, right? Like arts is integrated in everything we do in the real life, so trying to separate it out at the school level makes absolutely no sense. Like I love this viral meme about now that, you know, when the coronavirus first hit, everyone was inside, and what were you doing? You were consuming art, you're watching TV, you're listening to music, you're reading books, you consumed art in order to deal with it. And why wouldn't we give kids tools at a young age to deal with life, right? And music and art is such a great tool to deal with that.
I definitely agree. Just to piggyback, Rob, basically what you said, like when I'm teaching my art classes, and I teach, like I said, all levels, K through 12, but my concentration now is I'm in elementary and middle school. And we just did our first arts integration this year, and the kids were blown away because this was my first year doing this, let alone teaching primary and secondary. I'm used to just teaching high school students mostly. And then like we did like Midsummer Night's Dream, you know, Shakespeare. And academically, I've always understood it. I was like big in academics, and I was a visual learner as well. So where some people had routes of lecture, I had more of a different route. So I definitely agree with you guys with that. Like I had to do flashcards, draw things that I could remember it. And we do like rap songs and things like that, so that way the students can understand the lesson. Like we did a novel about the Army, and I worked with one of our amazing English teachers at Walter B. Carter, and I built, never knew I could do anything like this, by the way. I guess if you're just visual, you're visual. I built a real Jeep and had like 2 army men sitting in a Jeep. And we had like stacks of boxes, but on top of it was the camouflage fabric that we ordered from Amazon. So we set the kids up in the trenches, and then their cool down or their therapy session was like a coop, like a chicken coop. It was like if like, you know, you need a cool down or mental break or brain break. And that was like it was a tent, a real army tent that they could go in there and listen to headphones and cool down. So because people came to our school, this is my first year teaching at the school, and I executed the visual aspect because he did the English aspect and his take on things, and I just brought it to life. This is the first year I did this, and I was just like so excited for the next book. And they did Animal Farm, so he went and actually physically bought real haystacks, and the kids sat on the haystacks. They learned on the haystacks, and I did like this horse behind with like some fake weave, so it could look like a horse on this square. I don't know, some wheeler thing that had some supplies in it, and the carpet was grass, like real grass. Like we spent a lot of money into this, but it was so worth it because to open it up for the students when they came in, similar to my inspiration on one of those teachers that did a Harry Potter room. I don't know if you guys saw it. And she had the candles floating in the sky like it was a real Harry Potter book. It's a part of like an arts integration ordeal. And that gave me a lot of inspiration. So now I'm like really excited when we get some sense of normalcy, then I'll be able to do that again. But the kids were blown away. They were more engaged in the book because they felt like they were in the setting of the book. And it really does work. It really does work.
I think I'd have to say like, I think that art is going to be even stronger, visual art, all aspects of art after this. And because of stories like she just told, you know what I mean, and how Ty told earlier, you know, even the connections that Ty has with her friend, you know, the student on the camera, you know what I mean, those coming from this, it's going to emerge all of the griots that we have, because as artists, that's what we are. We're the storytellers. So all of these stories that are going to come from out of here, you know, the things that everyone on this page is doing and everyone else out there to help teach the kids of all aspects of art is going to help tell the story. And I think that's very important.
I feel like all of what you're saying is like so I feel like it's so obvious to us, right? Because we're artists maybe, but I feel like it should be so obvious to everyone else. Like Ty mentioned, art is integrated in our regular life, so why wouldn't it be integrated into our education? And then the ways in which art has been used to like for mental health. Jerome, you mentioned like you think it's on the rise because the ways in which it can
relate to art.
Yeah, in the ways in which it can help us. And then the story that Keela shared, I think that's like such a big and an amazing, important thing. And Asia Maxson said those are the experiences that students remember. And it really does work. If I came up with a rap a long time ago. I was 9 years old. We had to take vocabulary words and we had to use those vocabulary words in a rap. I still remember that rap too.
Right.
Come on, kick it.
No, I'm not gonna use it.
Come on, Rasheem. Don't set it up like that. Hit us with it.
Yeah.
We want those bars.
But I think that's one of those things that definitely matter. One of the things, so I'm getting a lot of questions and I want to make sure that I keep up with the questions that are out here. KC asked earlier about what is your inspiration when it comes to art? What inspires you was a question. And another question that someone else asked is about self-care as an artist. It has passed, but I want to, if folks could touch on those 2 points. One, where do you draw inspiration from? And how do you take care of yourself? Oh, Stephanie says, we want those vocab bars. I got you, Stephanie.
Anybody want to go first? I'll go.
Sure. I haven't spoken in a long time, so I was just listening to you guys, and there's also some things that I just wanted to make sure that I was able to have the floor. But just going back to your question really quick about like having art in schools, I think it's another important topic to touch on is that people within their families acknowledge their creatives and embrace their creatives, because I know that sometimes when you are creative, you know, you don't get that support from your family, or they just kind of, you know, push you away. So not only just schools do that, but families do that as well. And I just think that, you know, it's just really important for us to embrace creativity, because, you know, your student or your child is not always, you know, a book reader, whatever. One of my AP teachers, he had us draw all of the, you know, like the Renaissance, and he had us like literally draw that. And it helped me a lot to pass my tests and stuff like that. As far as your question now about where do I draw inspiration from, I draw a lot of inspiration from my community, and I'm really big on energy. So I feel a lot of, especially in the Black community, our culture, I feel a lot of pain, and I create a lot of beautiful things from feeling, you know, other people's pain or their anxieties or just things that they may be struggling with. Like, so I just feel like my creativity kind of comes in and just kind of like gives people a cushion, such as, you know, the platform that I offer. It gives people hope, and it gives people kind of like I can do this. It gives them, you know, that hope and that push and that drive. So that's really where a lot of my inspiration comes from, is just what's going on around me. I really work off of that. I work off of that energy to create some of my best pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really appreciate that, Asia. One of the things I really appreciate about it is, one, like, I feel like there is this symbiotic relationship between artists and their like active environment. Like, I feel like artists and comedians are the truth tellers, you know? Like, they are holding a mirror up to the world and saying, this is like who you are. Like, I didn't make this up. I am showing you who you are. Stephanie Ray said, yes, let's please talk about self-care. So self-care, and what is it that inspires you?
Well, I think for me, having to take care of myself, I have to give myself a set schedule. So I do like sculpture full time, and I have to set I guess an hour or two in the morning or an hour or two at night for me to actually take care of myself, whether that be, you know, make myself a healthy smoothie or give myself a facial or meditate or take a nap or, you know, take the time to listen to my body instead of forcing my body to do something that it doesn't want to do. And I think that's the main thing I've been learning this year, is to just listen to my body. If my body doesn't, if my body's feeling sluggish, maybe take a break from what I'm doing, or, you know, eat something healthy, or it's just really about listening to your body in the moment and being okay with listening to your body. And for what inspires me right now is from my work, it's just Black people in general, our features and how we are and how we naturally are and who we want to be, instead of conforming to societal standards of who we should be and who we should look like and how we should act. So yeah, my work is I just take features from other people of color, Black people, and mesh them all, collage them in a sculpture in a way. And yeah.
That's dope. I love that. I feel like one of the things that I'm hearing from both you and Asia are the ways in which your race shows up, right, in your work. And I feel like also with some of the work that Ty does, Ty, correct me if I'm wrong, help me out here, help to establish, or you're a part of the first Black improv group.
We're not the first. We were definitely the first in Baltimore, and probably the Mid-Atlantic region. So Casually Dope. We formed because there was only like a few people of color, and the person that kind of Christopher Jones, the one who had the initial idea, it was like almost out of frustration, you know, which is where I feel like a lot of Black art comes from, right? It's like, it's a frustration from some type of lack, and it's like, let's do something about it. And so we got together, and it's funny that Black people, I think improv is more popular now, but at first it wasn't, because we're such natural improvisers, whether it be like from the comedic theater standpoint, or just like life, you know, like we have to constantly adjust, like as a survival mechanism. So improv is like a part of who we are. So like teaching improv is wonderful, but teaching improv to Black kids is like a treat, you know. Like one of my things that I love is showing kids like this is us too, because like I love Blackness, and one of the things I love about Blackness is how expansive it is, you know. Like it's not just one thing. Like people try to corral it to this one thing, but Blackness is so, we do everything. Like there's nothing we don't touch,
Right.
and anything we touch we make it like really, really special. Like Casually Dope, it's like, oh, I see improv, but then when you see us, it's like, wait, y'all did something different. And that's what I love. Like I think it's like this excellence, and it's just the style, you know. It's like the thing, we put that little stank on it that nobody else can do. And I love taking that to everywhere. So what inspires me is that. And then also there's this Baldwin quote about like the space in which I fit won't exist until I create it. And I feel like that's important to me, like just like in being a Black person that's been in like, I'm an Army brat, so I've lived in spaces where I was like I lived in Maine, so I've been people's first Black person, you know. So like being in that space, and then just being queer, being gender queer, and really wanting to see more of myself. And instead of, I was looking around like, damn, I really don't see myself. And I'm like, maybe I have to be the person that does that. Like maybe I have to be the person that stands up and says, this is who I am fully. And I've been that. And so that's what like keeps me going. I love who I am, and I want other people to love who they are. And so I feel like if you, like some people like sneak in, I don't like to sneak in my spaces. I like to kick the door in, let the fam in, you know, like when you used to get in the club and like let the back door in and be like, we in here. That's how I like to open up spaces. Like, yo, hey, we here too. So like now improv is like, y'all, we here too. So that's what inspires me, opening the back door to the club and letting all my family in so we can, you know, put the stanky leg on them.
Put the stanky leg.
Something.
Real quick to the Facebook audience, I am way behind in these comments. Stephanie Ray said, yep, Black Improv Alliance was formed out of frustration. Another person, Stephanie Ray also said, yep, all true here, because I met Ty Coleman at an improv festival where we were so excited to meet Casually Dope and connect with other Black people in the forum. And Stephanie also said that she loves that metaphor. Puzio came on and gave some love.
Puzio.
Right? Christy Applegate came on and said, I love seeing all of you fabulous people. Yeah, so thanks everyone. And thanks for everybody who shared. There's been 40 comments, 24 shares. And so I appreciate that, and I appreciate you sharing with us and also sharing with others to articulate that Black artists matter. One of the things that I'm hearing too, and it comes through you guys, is that Black artists matter, even without just like articulating those words. I see that in each and every one of you that were handpicked. I see that in your artwork. Like, I don't have to ask the question if Black art matters to you, because, for example, Asia, just for a person to have something called trap house art, like shows an appreciation not only for Black people and Black culture, but an appreciation for the ratchet in a way that should be explored on an intellectual, in some ways, level. Like, this is a real art form. This is a real act of protest. This is, you know, a very beautiful thing. And Murjoni, all your sculptures are like some of the most untraditional sculptures I've ever seen. Whether it's Homie holding his grills like this, that's like, I'm sure that's everybody's fave. If you
my boy.
haven't seen it, you have got to check it out. Also, the ways in which you use hair.
It's 7 o'clock.
Thanks, computer. Also, the ways in which you use hair. Oh, Jasmine's gonna come in. Also, the ways in which you use hair in the sculptures, because for so long, Black women's hair has been art, right? Like, we do not play about our hair, okay? It will be styled, it will be stiff, it will be spritzed, it will be this, it will be like, there is nothing, it's like there's an intimate relationship a lot of times with our hair. And in addition to that, our hair is an art form. Can you talk about a little bit about, and each of you, but we could start with Murjoni, the ways in which your race or your culture shows up in your art, and speak a bit, and connect that to why Black artists matter.
So my work definitely talks about self-love of ourselves, just like on like under a whole umbrella. It talks about ourselves and self-love and how we come and how we are. But within that, I also channel that through different parts of our culture. So the first one you talked about is grill culture, and talking about how grills is one of the many things that people stereotype about us, where they see somebody wearing grills and they're just like, oh my God, there are all these negative things because it's a Black person wearing grills, when in actuality, grills are just teeth jewelry. And we don't think about that. Just like how I wear earrings every day, I wear my glasses, it's just jewelry, but in your mouth. And I wanted to normalize these things about our culture and normalize them for our culture and outside of our culture as well. And then I also talk about the hair culture, but I also talk about that in a different form. So currently I'm making these series of braided sculptures with different hairstyles that I hand braid myself, and my mom has helped me with like one or two of them because my hands been cramping. But I talk about hairstyles and different types of hairstyles. I also channel that through baldness and bald women as well, because I also talk about my experience as a bald woman and why I cut my hair, and going against the stereotypes of what it means to have hair as a Black woman, whether that be something that is for you or not. You should be accepted either way. So I think with that being said, I think all of that is important, because I think it's important for us to see that as a people, for our children to see that as children, and to see it young. Because I know there are moments where I was young and I saw, the girls with lighter skin and long hair, and I was like, oh my God, why do I not look like that? You know what I mean? And it takes a toll on a lot of Black girls, especially. Yes, Black men as well, but I think when it comes to looks and things, I'm just speaking from my experience, obviously. It takes a toll on you. And I think it's just important for us to understand that we are beautiful how we are, and it's okay to look how you are. That's okay. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I think it's important for people outside of our culture to see Black culture, Black art, to understand, that we are humans, we are normal. It's okay to be like this. We don't have to fit to your standards of beauty in order to be seen as beautiful. So I know that was like a whole long.
No, it was everything it needed to be. It was everything it needed to be. And I really appreciate the part that you talked about in terms of the aesthetic and the importance of the aesthetic. I think sometimes people connect it with a sense of vanity that they find frivolous. But one of the things that I've learned in my academic research with focusing on mothers and daughters and that mother-daughter relationship, one of the ways in which Black women transmit culture is through their adornment, right? Mothers would say, I wear my hair like this because, not just because it's fashionable or it's hip or it's whatever, blah, blah, but I wear my hair like this because, and that how they wear their hair might be a transmission of culture and or a demonstration of self-love. So I think that is like really amazing. Someone asked about where they could find your work, and I put a link to your website. Christy Applegate said, Murjoni, I love your braid work.
Thank you.
So that's amazing. Asia, I really want you to talk about the Trap House, because I have a fascination with the ways in which there's a theory called like ratchet theory, and ratchetness as a form of protest, right? Like protests are supposed to disrupt. They're supposed to be different. They're not silent. They're not conservative. They're not. And I don't necessarily feel or think that that's necessarily like your aim, but there is something in the appreciation of not just Black art, because I think when we think of appreciating Black art, a lot of times we go to whatever is refined or conservative and don't really celebrate things like Trap House art. So can you talk about that work a bit?
Sure. The Art Trap House. So trap is actually an acronym for taking real art places. And so, but we wanted to kind of, you know, delve into the culture of just Black art and what does it look like now? Because I know that I started out like I was born in '92, so I grew up on like a lot of, you know, '90s cartoons, and stuff like that. So I was painting what I knew. And I feel like that's what every other Black person did. It's like they painted what they knew. And I wanted to make an environment that kind of cultivated those people, that brought that type of vibe together. And I really wanted to just like put this showcase on for, like I keep saying, I feel like I'm like repetitive with it, but like these people literally feel like they can't get out of their neighborhood. Their parents don't appreciate their art, and so that's why I wanted to, you know, create this show, was just to, you know, embrace where you come from, embrace who you are, and embrace the entire community. Everybody is not exactly ratchet or, you know, in other words, maybe ghetto or whatever. Like, but I just feel like this is just a festival that embraces um, culture, and not only Black culture, but, you know, Mexican culture, Hispanic culture, and lots of different people who may have been like ostracized or just kind of pushed to the side. I wanted you to be able to come into my home, and then we treat you with the respect that you deserve, and, you know, just allow other people to come in and also pay their respects to you as well. Whatever it is that you do, dancing, singing, drawing, painting, designing, sculpting, jewelry making, comedy, so on and so forth. Like this is just like a huge talent show. So yeah. But I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here, but I have to step away because I am in the middle of moving. So I just wanted to you know, say thank you so much for allowing me to be on here. And it was really, really great meeting everyone. And I
Thank
hope
you
you
so
guys
much
continue
for
to like
being here.
rock out, because you guys are amazing and Black and beautiful. So
Thank you.
Thank
so
you for
much.
being here. If there's anything, Asia, that you want to share that you are up to next, we're about to wrap up soon. It's so hard to stop this conversation because I haven't even gotten to like the thick of what I really, really want to talk about. So I feel like I'm going to ask many of you to come on to the part 2 one. But Asia, is there something that you're up to next that you want everybody to know? Tell people how they can follow you on all of your social handles.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. So at this time, the Art Trap House, as you guys know, we cannot travel, so we are doing a live from Philly show. That was going to be our next show that we're going to be doing. So we're doing an online show. So my host is from Philly, and, you know, we interview artists, comedians, entertainers, you know, celebrities, and so on and so forth. We interview them every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, you know, we get to just pick their brains and continue to give them a platform. The Art Trap House also own a dance crew, a youth dance team. And so this month we're doing a May Day where you guys can go on our YouTube, which is the Art Trap House Tour, and look at all of our, live from Philly episodes. You can meet our coaches, our dancers. Have also been doing kind of virtual things. We'll be on TikTok. And we also have Instagrams for just about all of our, creations that we're doing right now. So you guys can follow the Art Trap House at the Art Trap House on Instagram. You can like our page on Facebook, and you can follow me at Asia Cobbs on any platform.
Thank you so much, Asia. I want to take a moment too before we close out to give Jasmin a chance to introduce yourself. I really want you to share about some of the work that you are doing now that like demonstrates, one, that art in general matters, that art education matters, and that definitely Black art matters. So could you speak to, Jasmin, a bit about what you're up to now? It looks like you're muted. I'm gonna unmute you. Did that work?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
First of all, hi everybody. I'm sorry I'm like an hour late. I love y'all. Yeah, basically, I haven't been focusing on too much of trying to reflect, the pandemic right now through my art. I have anxiety, so instead of me focusing on it through my art, I just try to, draw something else. I continue to focus on painting Black women, and Black men. If anything, the only thing I've drawn that really reflected what's going on was probably like, my sister and my nephew walking down the street with mask on. That's all I drew as a sketch to really show what's going on right now. But for me, my art is, it's a way to get away. So I continue to paint, women with, big noses, brown skin, big lips, big full hair, things of that nature. That's what keeps me going pretty much. And, like I said, most of my artwork just focuses on Black people. I didn't get to see that a lot when I was growing up, from my art teachers. They were primarily Caucasian. Mm-hmm. So I have to paint that myself and teach my students that, there are various artists, no matter what color, not just white or European, so yeah.
Yeah, I feel like so much of what you're saying, I feel like resonates and also reminds me of what Murjoni was saying in terms of the features.
Exactly,
yeah, that she uses in her work. I am gonna close out now. This is so hard for me to close out. I'm telling you, so hard. But I want to invite many of you, if you are available, to come on to the part 2 that will happen on the 30th, where we'll get into this a little bit more. Before I let folks go, I really want each of you to say, what are you up to now? If people are trying to connect with you, follow you, tag you, support you, Cash App you, how all of the things, how can they reach you? And I want to start with Kammeran. You're muted.
Okay, there we go. What am I working on? These classes, Rise Visual Arts class, and Jasmin is doing this next week, and the acting and music class. And then we are looking into our summer. What does summer look like for us? I'm thinking about doing a summer intensive program for like the older kids. So yeah, but you can follow us on IG. It's rise_arts_center. And on Facebook, it is Rise Art Center Baltimore, or you can follow me on IG, and it's Lights Cam with a K, Action. And then on Facebook, it is Kammeran Tyree.
Awesome. Whoever wants to go next, how can folks find you?
My name is Marquette Soul Sun Shaw. You can find me on Instagram at soulsun21. You can find me on YouTube at Marketing Marquette, utilizing that platform to continue to connect with different artists in Baltimore, share the story, share the love, share the vibration. Send me an email, marketingmarquette@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support Quarantine Chats, definitely Cash App us at $SoulSun21.
Yeah. One thing I want to plug into, in connection to what Marquette said, so many times, I feel like people feel as though they can't support an artist if they can't buy a ticket or artwork. And there's so many ways. Like, of course, you know, if you could buy a ticket, buy a ticket. Mm-hmm. If you could buy some artwork, then do that as well. Sometimes supporting is following, is liking, is sharing, is saying, yo, I think you were doing a great job. Yeah, I just want to say that piece, that is also support. And then whoever wants to go next to share, like, how can people find you and support you?
My name is Ty Coleman. You can follow me on Facebook, IG __ Tyology, www.tycoleman.com. I'll drop the links in the thing. I will be teaching, starting next week, every Saturday at 10 o'clock with Moonwork Productions. They have a youth group that they do from 10 to 12. So I'll be doing improv in the mornings. I will also be starting a teen drop-in this summer for teens to drop in. I'll be doing random workshops. My group Casually Dope, we have a web series dropping soon, so please follow Casually Dope. That's how I feel when I record it. And tonight, if you're not doing anything, at 9:30, I will be performing with Black in Space, which is the DC Black Pride. And I'll be doing something that scares me a little bit, so like please come support me if you can. But that's blackinspace.com with no A. I'll also post that. And and like Rasheem said, like even if you can't tune in, like follow artists. Like just getting our name out there means a lot to us. So please follow me, share what I do, and when I drop it, you know, like that, share that. All right, peace.
Yep, what he said.
Okay, well, I'm Jerome Trusted. You can find me on Instagram at the Groovy Vandal, and my website is alleyKidArt.com. And you know, you can just check when I drop any new merchandise. I'm doing it all the time, you know, having sales and things like that, and posting work from time to time. So you know, if you see a piece or anything, you know, reposting, you know, that's a nice way to show support. And you know, even buying some stuff sometimes, that's another way to show support. So yeah, everything is appreciated.
Definitely. Speaking of merch, I got this. This is one of the stickers that's on my phone. You can't see it, but it's the Nina Simone. Oh, yeah. One of the lines. It's like 4 stickers, and each one of them are saying one of the lines from that 4 Women poem. And I also got a shirt with the 4 women comments. And I also have a Casually Dope shirt that I would love to show y'all. Just, and just an example, there's so many ways out there to like support folk. I will be going to Black in Space tonight. Shortly after this, I will definitely be going there. So
come through.
Yeah, I will definitely be there. And anyone else, how can we find you, support you, and what are you up to right now?
So my name is Murjoni Merriweather. You can find me on Instagram at MVRJONI. So it's my name, but a V as the U. And the same goes for Twitter. Facebook is the same thing, but with arts at the end of it. And my website is mvrjoni.com. And what I'm working on right now, obviously I'm working on more braided sculptures, but I'm also working on a new series. It's a rapper series. So I'll be sculpting local rappers and I guess famous rappers at the same time as well, and making the big series about that. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I love
everybody.
I feel like I just like can't emphasize enough the significance of us celebrating us and not waiting or asking for anybody else's permission to do so, just in like sculpting rappers, you know what I mean? Just like in that.
Absolutely. It's going to be super fun because I'm working on a new little technique. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for it.
Nice. Let's see. Whoever wants to go next. I won't call on and make anybody feel any type of way.
All right, I'll go. I'm Keela Evans. You guys can follow me at, I have a new business page, not business page, but Instagram page I just launched. It's called The Curator of Baltimore. And it's a customized line through my hand painting with other embellishments and different textures of cloth, hand sewed or embroidery on clothing. As well as my other business page or my IG page, which is at Glorious Faces. So I do a little bit of everything on that page just to see some of the other mediums I work in. So it's paint, charcoal, pastel, some of my face painting and art instruction that I do for our sip and paints is concerned. So that's like kind of like an array of everything on that page. Or you can follow me with my legal name on Facebook at Keela Evans. And currently I'm working on that clothing line, so it's actually doing extremely well. My background is also in fashion school, so I went to fashion school in Soho, New York briefly. And it's just to piggyback right off of the earlier conversation, now that we have time and I have the time to focus more on other things, I'm doing this customized denim clothing line right now, so.
Denim.
Yes, I love it.
Okay, Jasmine.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that. You can follow me on Instagram at Jasmin Manning Art. There's no E in my name. And I'm also having a virtual sip and paint on June 3rd. Thank you to Rasheem and Thomas for setting that up with Creative Alliance. It's Wednesday, June 3rd from 6:30 to 8. And you can go to my Instagram, and the link is in my bio to purchase tickets. If you're interested, bring a friend, tell everybody. Yeah, I'm just teaching right now, teaching kids, having fun, just relaxing, but also trying to be productive. So, and you can cash at me too if you want. Money sign Jasmin Manning. So yeah. That's it.
Did everybody go? Let me see the full list.
Think so.
All right. Oh my gosh. I didn't get into half of what I wanted to get into, but y'all are awesome and amazing. And I love y'all so much. And y'all do so much for the culture. You know what I mean? Artists are the creators and maintainers of the culture. And you are the truth tellers. Art saved my life. And it's saving so many people, other people's lives. And I don't know different people's religions or levels of like, of that, but I feel like there are a lot of artists, like that is your testimony, that is like your work, that is like your message, just in the ways in which each and every one of you show up in the world, and the way that you support and everything in the world. I'm just like so happy that you guys said yes to this and that you were willing to do this. Megan Lewis said, I really enjoyed this. Gary said, nice. Let's see. And then I put most of everyone's comments. Feel free to go ahead and engage in the counter narrative show space if folks want questions. Ty, you mentioned that you were going to be at Black in Space tonight. Feel free to share that.
We'll drop that link right now.
Yep, drop that link with the flyer. Feel free to drop your Cash App. Put it under the show video so that people can know what it's in connection to. I can't thank you guys enough. The only thing that I will wrap up with letting everyone know is that the Counter Narrative Show will be back again Saturday, May 30th at 6 p.m., same location, and this will be called Black Artists Matter 2. We will have some of the same guests that we have here. We'll also have Let me look at this paper so I don't forget. Thomas James, who's a art curator. We will also have Angela, who is the executive director of Afro House. I'm sorry, Angela is the is an artist, writer, and art archivist. But we'll also have the another person named, or no, her name is Alicia, and she is the executive director of Afro House. Thank you all for coming, and I'm going to end the stream submission. Did anybody want to say any last words?
Love you.
Right, love you. Thank you, by the way. You thanking us. Thank you for the platform.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Oprah.
Right.
Hey, yeah, look, Gail. Stop.
Get up, Marquette.
I love it though. This was nice. This was nice. I think it's important to like legitimize our work, you know, like because sometimes we do it so much we forget how dope we are. So I appreciate Rasheem for like setting this platform up just so for us to like just reflect on that, because we're dope people doing dope things. And this is what moves the culture right here. So I just appreciate it. I'm glad I got to know y'all. So I'm looking forward to following y'all on IG and seeing what y'all do next. Hopefully we can collaborate one day. That would be dope. So
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
About that kid.
Remember, Black in Space is about to be posted, so check that out if you have a chance to check that out tonight.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.